we're no different than the larger counties, except the number of crimes that occur. Of course, you see drug-related crimes. That's probably number one. And even the other crimes prompted by drug and alcohol use as well. You have burglaries, thefts, and domestic violence, which normally is, drug and alcohol related as well. The domestics, other than information, and there are several groups that put out information on domestic abuse, it's very, very difficult to be proactive on that. Burglaries, if you have an area that looks like there's criminal activity in, you try to put patrol out there and beef up the patrol in the area. However, many times in rural areas, and we don't have this market cornered, that we don't have a lot of manpower. And we've got 482 square miles of county, and there are many times that I have one deputy on. And so they're running from call to call, so as far as focusing in one area on patrol, it's very difficult. Well, domestics can be a lot of different things. Again, we see a lot, the suspect is impaired somehow, whether it be on drugs or alcohol. The burglaries, many times they're caused to produce a habit, or not produce, but to supply a habit for an offender. So again, I think the focus or the main core is the alcohol and drugs.
We have a lot of different crimes that occur regularly, like frauds and thefts. People leave their cars unlocked and things like that. But I don't know that those are the ones that we, as a community, fear the most. And, we talk about shots fired a lot. And even though I don't have the numbers, I believe those have declined some. One is too many. And those become the top priority because it places people in fear. And we want people to be outside and feel comfortable being outside with their kids and talking to their neighbors. So we really try to focus on those things that are quality of life issues. Not that a theft isn't, but we focus on those things like shots fired so that we can deal with those appropriately.
My name's Strauss. I was born in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I was adopted at the age of 3, moved up here to Missouri, not originally from Columbia. Grew up in a town called Wellsville out there on my grandfather's farm down there in Montgomery County. A pretty normal childhood, I guess. Did sports in high school, pretty athletic, all state and track, 110-meter hurdles, triple jump. Moved up here to Columbia, after got into some trouble down there. Up in the prison 3 times, did a 120 treatment, got out, came back a few months later, did 4 months, got out, came back a few months later and ended up doing 40 months and got out, got off paper, 12 my entire bid, everything, and thought moving up here to Columbia would help, and then
it didn't.
A year and a half later, as soon as I got out of prison, the day I got out, I started using again. Drug of choice it'd be methamphetamines. Yeah. And then, but I've done them all, and they all lead down the same road eventually. This last time, it was not wanting to do what I had to. Making excuses, not wanting to work, using my past as a reason of not being able to find work, not being able to get employment, and then bills and stuff piling up at the house, wanting things and trying to support a habit. I saw an easy way to make money, go out, start taking things, and it just, one thing led to another, eventually got myself caught, got so far into the addiction, ended up trying to sell stuff on Craigslist and got set up with a sting, and then went back to the house, found everything that I had been taking, and along with a substantial amount of drugs, and then it was, got locked up, went to jail, and then I saw this as, not only as a way to, saw drug court not only as a way to stay out of prison, but for a way to hopefully get rid of this, I don't want to say lifelong demon, but it's, something that's been troubling me for quite some time.
I grew up in California, the state of California. I was born here in Missouri, but my mom went out there when I was a baby, and that's where I spent about 22 years, and I've been back here in the Midwest ever since. Family, grandmother, all that stuff. Came back every summer as a kid, so I've grown up between beach and country all my life. It's been decades of drug use. I had a lot of childhood trauma from 5 till I was about 15. So, I can see that's where it started. Just numbing, trying to numb for years, get a hold of my feelings, my emotions and my thoughts, and drugs worked that way for a long time. I was a nurse for about 17 years, started to dabble then. I was really good at what I did, and was very good at sneaking and lying, and, so just out of curiosity, tested what I gave, what I administered on a regular basis, and that seemed to make me feel better for a long time.
And my belief is, it's just like we have programs in our jail. We have AA, we have NA, we have spiritual services. And my feeling going into this is if you can save one person, you're successful. And that's the way with our drug courts and our AA courts. If they can save one person, they're successful. And our drug court has been successful. Has it had its failures? Absolutely. But that's what makes it better, because they can build on that and make it a tougher program and have more successes. One thing that I would like to see, and it would help us out as well, is money for mental illness. We have a lot of people that are incarcerated that do not need to be in a jail. They need mental help, and there is no money there. So, and that's a totally different topic, but, it is what it is.
Treatment court teams helped out so much, they changed the way I think about things, the way I react to things. I've had so much more now than I could ever imagine. In my addiction, I was just scraping, trying to get by, trying to pay for the next thing, pay for this, pay for that. Now I'm working, I'm an assistant manager at my job, I've got a vehicle, I got my license back, I got my child support lowered. It's everything that I was, while using, I was thinking about trying to do and that I wanted to get done, is now everything is actually happening. It is a second chance initially, but I've had so many chances in the past, but with this one even more so. I've got 2 second-degree burglary cases that are, they can say it's called deferred right now, and they will be tossed out in completion of the drug court program. This is my last chance with everything. I tend to lose so much if I don't make it this time, more than just having to go back to prison. I've got a girlfriend relationship on the line, and
kid, right?
I have a kid. I haven't seen him in a while now.
I drank and drove off and on for decades. Never really got in any legal trouble with my drug use, but I was basically smuggling in dope into the prison, and I was on my way to do that again and getting away with it for a long time, and got pulled over in my car and had it with me, got popped with possession, and I'm so grateful I did, because if I'd have been busted doing that, I'd be sitting in federal prison right now. There's no doubt. So I'm grateful that that's what happened, and that was a choice. somehow this woman has trusted me and believed in me before I could. I didn't want to do this at first. I mean, I know I needed to, but I wasn't. It was very just unknowing of everything that was going to happen. But my life is such a different story now than it was, a year and a half ago. I'm not the same chick. I was an absolute frazzled, emotional basket case when I first started. And now, I mean, I'm still myself, full of energy. I'm the girl I used to be, who's level-headed and has some maturity and can think for herself. I didn't think for myself for a long time. I just didn't have the assurance and all of that. And now, my life is really cool and mellow. I don't have any drama at all, and I like it that way. And that's what drugs and alcohol brought to my life for decades, and I thrived on that. So now it's a totally different story.
I think the crime that we have can occur anywhere. I think it's just probably a difference in frequency because of the population. But I've been to other departments in other cities, and they have the same types of crime issues that we have.
I think we can do better for our communities and for our citizens. Now, the problem is, what are you going to do with them? Where are you going to put them? The Department of Corrections is full. Your county jails are full. So we have to find an alternative method, I guess. And they are looking at the GPS tracking systems, kind of in-house arrest. Sure. So until they're able to get a good hold on that, I mean, I'm not totally sold on it, but that is another alternative that we possibly could use. But other than building more correctional facilities, I really don't have a firm answer that I can.